Welcome to Knafs at Night. I'm Ben, and today I have a special guest in studio. Devin from Backcountry Exposure is here to teach us what is the best knife for getting outside.
And why this $2 knife is not it.
Let's go! Before we get into the knife section of this, I want you to know that every week we do a giveaway to our newsletter subscribers. So if you are subscribed, you're entered every week to win a pocket knife. Go to knafs.com/newsletter, enter your email, and you are entered to win. This week, Guy M. from Grand Marais, Minnesota. Grand Marais. Sorry, Minnesota. Jamie's from Minnesota. He's corrected it. Grand Marais, Minnesota. I've heard it's lovely. Congratulations, Guy M. from Minnesota. You can win next week. knafs.com/newsletter. Go sign up, and you are entered to win every single week. So, without further ado, Devin.
Thanks for having me.
Dude, thanks for being on.
Yeah.
Okay,
great.
So here's the deal. If you haven't watched Devin's YouTube channel, it's Backcountry Exposure. He is an expert in gear, backpacking, backpacks, chairs. I literally just watched half an hour of you reviewing chairs, backpacking chairs. But you are also a knife guy. You brought your collection of about 40 knives.
Yeah, it's not something I spend a lot of time talking about or really ever talk about.
But you know them well.
But it's a hobby.
And you also teach backpacking courses at a local university.
I do.
One thing about Devin that I think is super interesting, if you go to his channel, he is always camping. And like, no, and I mean this, like, and I don't mean to cast shade or anything, like some people film stuff like close to home. Right. You're like down in like Grand Staircase, Escalante, like you're all over the place filming.
Yeah.
Like every video I'm like, wait a minute, that's in Bears Ears. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute, that's all over the place. So like here's a guy who spends a ton of time outside. So what I wanted to do with you, Devin, is let's talk about your knife collection and what makes a really good outdoor knife. So maybe pick something that you take on the regular, or what do you carry every day? What is your go-to?
It maybe pains you a little bit.
It's okay. It's okay. This show is in part pain. Yes.
It is in part pain, but this is my go-to. This is the Benchmade Mini Bug Out, the CF Elite, and it's also a first production.
Very nice.
So
Very nice.
It feels fancy because of that.
Okay, right? So what takes you to this knife? Like, why did you pick this one?
Most of the time, I'm focused on trying to save weight, and I don't actually use a knife as often as you think you would out in the backcountry.
Oh, that's
at least for my style of spending time outside. The majority of my knife use is cutting cheese and salami, opening packages. Maybe it's a little bit of like first aid kind of scenario.
Do you whittle? Are you a whittler?
I'm not really a whittler.
We made Devin a whittler
for
about a day last year.
With this beautiful.
With the Lulu.
This beautiful thing.
Let's ask a question here. When we look at this versus a Lulu, would you carry a fixed blade? Like, are you a backpacker that carries a fixed blade, or you just carry something super lightweight?
I carry it lightweight and a folder because it's easier to tuck away into places. Like that's a lot of
knife.
That's a lot of space inside of a backpack.
For sure.
When I'm trying to save the amount of weight that is carried in the pack, there's the whole idea of ultralight.
Yep.
Right?
Are you an ultralighter or not really?
Maybe by definition.
Okay.
But I am not somebody that is counting every single gram. If I was, I'd be carrying this.
We're going to get to that one. Don't spoil it. I'm
not going to spoil it.
So I guess maybe my question for you then, you showed up with a bin of 40 knives. I know some of these are samples because you do YouTube. Mm-hmm. But like, why do you have so many knives if your usual is a Benchmade Bug Out?
There's a little bit of a separation of hobbies in this as well. So while I care deeply about spending time outside, I don't buy everything with the purpose of it needs to be used as an outdoor blade. So I have things that may be more focused in just like an everyday carry scenario. Yeah. This is not a knife that I would carry
giant mouse
out in the field.
Why not? Just wait?
Like from a utilitarian standpoint, I want something that fits with like blade shape and the cutting aspects of what fits the use case, what I'm actually going to be cutting and doing out in the field.
Got it.
That's a really big blade to cut cheese with. It just like gets stuck to it. There's a lot of things for stuff to get stuck into.
Yeah, like this is a cheese like migratory pattern. Yeah, right. Right? That's a patented word, by the way. The migratory pattern hole. That's a Knafs thing.
So, but it's also like that's a hefty thing to carry, and so that's why I wouldn't choose it. But also the pocket clip versus on here, this could easily get caught on like a tree branch or something that would just like
yank it
right out of the pocket.
Yeah, interesting. This is fun to see your philosophy because you are a knife user, not necessarily like a hardcore knife guy. And this is one of the fun things about Devin is like when we start talking fabrics, we're going to talk fabrics here in a minute. That's a tease.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a tease. Do people get excited about fabrics? I know you get excited about fabrics.
We're going to get excied about fabrics.
Knife guys get excited about this being like injection molded FRN, CF, carbon fiber, nylon. Like that's where they like their eyes light up.
Totally.
Your eyes light up about fabrics, which I think is super cool. So what else in your collection like calls to you? What are things that you use regularly?
Well, let's talk about this guy.
Yeah.
So this is the first knife that I spent a substantial amount of money on.
Yep.
When I was like, okay, knives are cool and exciting, and I want to learn more about them. So I went to the store and I purchased this.
From Benchmade Direct?
No,
or like
from the OG Blade HQ store location.
Back in the day.
Yeah, back in the day.
That's cool.
This was like $100 at the time. I don't know how much they are now.
Probably
like,
double it.
I was like, $100 is a lot of money to spend on a knife.
Yes.
That's a lot of money. Where everything before that was maybe like $15, $20, $25. Or it was a Christmas gift from brother or brother-in-law. And that was just the knife that you carried. So
back under exposure, you went for the partially serrated.
I did.
Talk to me about your decisions and life choices.
It's not as like substantial as you might think, but I used to manage an indoor climbing gym.
Okay.
Here in the
That makes sense for climbing.
Yeah. And so the serrations made sense because I thought, I'm going to be cutting rope often. Turns out that wasn't the case whatsoever.
Interesting. Okay, all you serration lovers, let's talk. Let's get down to business. You're working in a climbing gym thinking you're going to cut a bunch of rope, and even then you're not cutting a bunch of rope.
Right.
Interesting. So I noticed that none of your other knives are serrated.
I have not bought a serrated knife since this.
I rest my case. The show is over. I brought Devin here for this exact moment.
It's been settled.
Okay, but I do think that's interesting though. Would you carry a serrated, like obviously you don't carry a serrated knife outside?
I've never felt the need in any like there's cordage on this here. I've never felt the need to have serrations to be able to cut something like that because this has done the job every time.
Interesting.
I've never not been able to cut something with a knife that doesn't have serrations.
Okay, but here's the thing that I think is important. I'm going to hate on serrations, but also I think if there's a use case for some, we were talking about this before we started recording, everybody's use case varies.
Yeah.
So there might be somebody out there, maybe 3 of you, who really need full serrated knives or partially serrated, and it's actually very useful for what they do.
Yeah. And you might get into something that's a bit more specialty.
Yeah.
In the realm of like paddle sports.
Yeah.
If I'm carrying a knife on my PFD, very often like I might get tangled up in a rope or something, then I definitely want a knife that would be able to cut rope. And
I was gonna bring it. I didn't prepare as well as I like. I have a life jacket, a PFD that I carry a CRKT Bear Claw. Maybe we can flash it on the screen here. That is fully serrated. It's probably the only fully serrated knife that I own, and I've never used it. I've never had need to cut.
Because you've never found yourself in the situation of
needing
to do it?
Yeah. But even like cutting apples or whatever, like I've never used it. So it literally just sits in my life jacket and I know it's there, but maybe that's...
But is it the right knife for that use case?
Yeah.
Like, would you replace it with something different, or the fact that you've never used it, kind of like some of the things in your first aid kit?
Okay, so here's one part about it too. The sheath does not fit on that square very well.
Oh, interesting.
So it's actually in the pocket on the front versus on the square. And I always kind of feel a little weird with it on the square too. I feel like that's above my like coolness level. Like,
You just got to send it, dude.
I know.
You just got to just slap it there and just go for
Well,
it.
it feels like if you're wearing the knife, you're the guide, you know, like you're the stuff. And I just don't know if I have that kind of cachet yet.
You got it. You can do it.
But I do think that's an interesting use case. Like if you are trapped under something and you got to cut something quickly, that full serrated is going to work really well on rafts, tubes, lines, things like that. So,
Totally.
Interesting. Okay, I'm noticing a few fixed blades in your collection. Let's talk about those for a
Yeah.
minute.
I have a few. And again, oddly enough, in my personal use, they don't get used very often.
Okay, interesting. What about
Which is funny because you
changing my chair and turning more toward you because I want to explore this a little bit.
Let's dig.
Let's dig. So like you do car camping.
Yeah.
Alongside like backcountry backpacking.
And the car camping is where these live.
That's what I wanted
more often than like this one here.
What do we got here? A giant mouse?
That's a giant mouse GFM 2?
Well done. I don't know the name on this one. I like those guys. Nice.
I mean, it's a beautiful knife. And it has things that I like about it, things that I don't like about it. But for a car camping scenario where I am more often having a fire, this is an applicable situation of like feather sticks or that kind of thing. I do EDC this one, but I don't car camp with it.
I feel like this is a really good product placement.
It is good product placement.
You can buy this on Knafs.com.
But even though just because it's a fixed blade doesn't mean that like I choose to use this as an outdoor or camping blade.
What about like your Mora here? You got this is the Mora with the little guy on the handle, little fire steel. Your fire steel is almost brand new. So you're telling me you're not using the fire steel very often?
Correct.
Interesting. Why is that? What do you use? Yeah. I think, okay, we're in the dirt now, guys.
Yeah, this is great.
I think one of the things about marketing, as a guy that does marketing, a lot of times we want to say, this is going to save my bacon. But this is like a backup tool. Like, ultimately, if you're starting a fire with a ferro rod, you're either recreationally starting a fire for funsies.
Correct.
Or something has gone really horribly wrong on your trip to the point that you do not have a lighter anymore, you do not have matches anymore, and this is the only thing you have left to start a fire.
Sure.
At what point, have you ever had a trip go so horribly wrong that you needed a ferro rod? How do you prevent that?
That's a good risk management.
Yeah.
Like good planning and taking the time ahead of a trip so that you don't really allow yourself to get into those kinds of situations.
See, that's an interesting perspective because, well, I think that plays into, I am bringing this knife, not this knife, on my backpacking trip because I am not planning to sleep in a shelter made of pine boughs.
Yeah, because somebody at least it might get marketed as survival knife.
Yes.
Well, how many survival situations do you want to find yourself in?
Actually, zero, if we're being really honest with each other.
Right. Yeah. I think that's the difference. Is that just a marketing tool to sell the knife for that particular purpose? I think if you take a step back and look at how do I want to spend time outside, and then using the tool that fits that like specific use case. I'll say that like phrase often because if I am going out to do like a weekend of bushcrafting, then this is not the knife I'm going to take.
Sure.
I need something that fits the mold of being able to craft structures and cut rope and start fires and
that's almost like the exact opposite of like an ultralight tent, ultralight setup. It's like, no, I'm actually going to go out and craft from what I find. I think we want our knives or whatever tool to be precisely good for everything that we do. And they can be. Like, I don't think you can take out this Essie Candy-Roo and you can have a wonderful time with that. Like, I look at this compared to like a little Lulu. Like, these are not big knives at all.
Right.
These are tiny knives. But you can go out and have a swell time with this stuff.
Totally.
But I think if you're like, I'm going to build a log cabin with an Essie Candy-Roo, you got another thing coming. Like, this is not going to work.
Your hands are going to hurt.
You're not going to get there. So, interesting. How often are you backpacking versus bushcrafting?
I don't bushcraft.
You're not a bushcrafter?
No. And it would have to be a deliberate choice. This is what I'm going out to do.
Yeah.
As opposed to, it's what I just normally do every time I'm out there on a trip.
Fantastic. I love this. I love
and I think what's interesting too is, contrary to what a lot of people are going to think, you go outside, you go camping, you have to have a fire. Yeah. I'm the opposite at this point. The less fires I have, the better.
And you and I, when we went backpacking together, you're like, "Are we going to have a fire?" I'm like, "Of course we're going to have." Like, I think part of camping for me is a fire.
Yeah.
Now I realize that there's a big movement. Number one, for safety, but two, just like leave no trace. Like, fires always leave a trace, even if they're in a ring.
My students are often very discouraged when on the first or second day of class, I'll say, "We can't have fires where we're going. We're not going to have fires unless it's like an emergency situation." I was like, oh.
Yeah. I do think that there's something to be said about having a fire, but also when you don't have a fire, I tend to look at the stars more. I tend to look away from because when you have a fire going, you look at the fire, and fire is a delight to watch. It's animated.
Well, and it keeps you busy.
It does. Yeah. It gives you something to do. But
very enjoyable, for sure.
If you don't have that, you tend to look up more. And I find that equally enjoyable, because the stars, and maybe this is why I like backpacking, is usually you're out of cell range and you see the stars.
Yeah.
And you see the galaxies, the Milky Way, and it's just, I love it.
And the conversations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my next question for you. What knife is in your pocket, Devin? This was our post-trip knife last year. So we went backpacking.
There's
had a great time.
2 stories to this knife, right?
Well, I think the first one was like, dude, I had a great time. Pick a knife off the website. This is the one you picked.
Correct. But the reason that this got picked is because we met some gentlemen on the trail.
Oh, yes.
And my Lander 1 in my pocket that I had.
I gave your knife to some people on the trail.
No, well...
Kind of.
There were 2 guys.
Yeah.
And the one guy seemed very sad that the friend was gifted a knife.
Yep.
And then, well, where's my knife?
Yeah. So I gave him yours. So when we got back, I sent him this Solar Flare S35VN.
And it's beautiful. I love it.
It's a wonderful knife.
Yeah.
The scales are made in California. I think we've sold out of these. These are not coming back.
Yeah, this one is number, 34 or 50.
That's awesome. Yours has a windmill in the back. Why does it have a windmill in the back, Devin?
You want to share story time?
Yeah, so there we were. We did have a campfire. We're sitting around the campfire, and Devin, the way you explained it was you have a flatulent problem in the mountains. Flatulence problem in the mountains. And so he was just this little windmill, and you were in a hammock, and you just hear farts all night long.
There was a shift in the wind in the hammock.
There was.
It was just swaying back and forth.
And so he got the trail name of Windmill. So when
I blame the Texas State Fair chili.
Yeah, you did have something interesting for dinner. But I said this knife needs a windmill on it. So
and I didn't know that he was going to do that. That was a very nice surprise.
Well, and I think that's one thing about knives. Like,
fantastic.
you can make them a very personalized gift and a meaningful gift in a way that, like, I remember giving that to you, but it's like that gift is gone for me. But you still are like, this is what I'm carrying today. This is what you showed up to the shop in your pocket.
Well, of course,
which is cool.
Of course.
I love that.
I'm at Knafs. I
love that.
I gotta rock the Lander.
Love that. Okay, we're going to come back in just a second to a part of this program called Arts and Crafts with Devin. But first, I'm going to tell you about the last day of the 20% off Knafs sale. So here's the deal. One of those grand corporations called Amazon is having a sale, so we're matching that sale for Knafs Day. It's Amazon Knafs Prime Day. Knafs Prime Day. Can I say that? I did. This is the last day for it, so if you want to get 20% off on a burrito, a Lulu, a Lander 3, or a Lander 3 in black. Ooh. There's a bunch of stuff that's 20% off on our website. Today is the last day of that. So it's a prime day to go snag some Knafs stuff. Plus, I don't know, you're kind of like a shop local, shop small kind of guy. We put mints in all of our orders. We put stickers in our orders, and they're packed by Robin with love. Not to say that somebody at Amazon doesn't pack it with love, but we know that Robin does. I think in your business, you do something similar where it's like, this is handcrafted. I want to talk for a minute about what you do, aside from YouTube. You're a gear maker.
I am.
Let's talk about that for a minute. Bring out arts and crafts.
All right, let's get the goods.
And today on Arts and Crafts with Devin, we've got some pouches and bags. Tell me what you're doing. Because you have the YouTube channel.
I have the YouTube channel, but I also I just like working with my hands. I've always been a creator in some kind of way, but not this like, I wouldn't call myself like a phenomenal creator or like, you look at some of the things that I make and it's like, holy cow, that's a game changer, or that is the most amazing thing
So
ever.
what are you making? What is this stuff?
It is, they are, let's use proper grammar here. They are accessory bags for backpacking, camping, hiking. So they're simple, different styles of DOP kits, ditty bags, and in this case, a food bag that I just released today, actually.
That's amazing.
I've been working on this for 3 months.
Yeah. So we talk a lot about like making your own things on this channel, 3D printing, DIY. We're in the process of making our own knife. Aside from using your hands, like this is a very simple thing that you've made very well, and I don't want to call it complex, but you've thought about the details. You're telling me about the corners and the edges.
Yeah.
What motivated you to do bags? And like, this is like a $45, $50 bag, right?
Yeah, it's in the, almost, depending on how you package it, close to $60.
Cool.
If you go back, story time a little bit,
Please.
2018, I was getting into the realm of what's known as MYOG, or make your own gear. There is a whole like Reddit subreddits about this, Facebook groups about make your own gear.
Cool.
And in the outdoor space, particularly backpacking, there are a bunch of people that they don't want to buy something, they want to just make it themselves. And so, and anything from sleeping bags to quilts to backpacks to accessory bags, you name it, people are making it. And I fell into that category because it was like, I want to make a hammock. So I'm like, how the heck do I make a hammock? I think I need to learn how to sew.
Cool.
So I taught myself how to sew.
You made a hammock.
And I made a hammock.
Amazing.
Yeah. Which is like, initially it's like a super daunting thing to think about, but it's actually really simple.
Cool.
And then
it
just like evolved from there.
Interesting.
And I actually started a business before this business with a friend that got into some legal situation. Not at my fault, not at our fault.
How many years were you in jail?
But the issue that came about is we ended up having to sell the name of the company. It is a whole big convoluted story.
Because you've been in the outdoor space for basically your whole career.
Pretty much,
right?
yeah.
That's
yeah,
cool.
25 plus years of being an outdoor professional.
That's cool.
And so then we all know what happened in 2020. I got furloughed from my job and thought, I got to make money somehow. So there's a cool thing called Etsy.
You started selling bags.
And I started selling bags on
amazing.
Etsy. Yeah, so the business that I had before with this friend, we were making similar bags, and then I've just expanded it from there. And over the last 2 years, I have been working for myself.
Congrats. Condolences.
I lost my job in a way. I was working for what's known as a cottage brand in the outdoor space, which is like a small company, like Knafs.
Yeah.
But
a cottage brand.
A cottage brand. Yeah. Everything made in-house, small team.
That's not us. We have
Yeah. So the company went out of business, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it was right within the wheelhouse of designing backpacks and understanding textiles and fabrics and applications.
I want to nerd out about textiles and fabrics
we're getting nerdy.
for just a minute. Because in the knife industry, we tend to nerd out about, well, is this canvas micarta? Is this linen micarta? Is this, what sort of finish is it? Like, we get so nerdy about knives, and I think that we forget that other people get nerdy, like layers and layers deep nerdy about different things. So just for my own enjoyment, get nerdy with this fabric for just a minute. Give me 25 seconds of nerdiness about this bag.
Well, I've got 3 different fabrics here on the table. This is called Ultra TX70. This is called Ultra Grid. And this is from a different company that is actually USA made.
Cool.
Called RX30 that is X-Pack.
Cool.
Got to think of all the words. So this is a woven fabric that is a 210 denier of the base fabric, and then it has a ultra high molecular polyethylene.
That's exactly what I wanted.
Fiber that is double ripstop woven into that 210 denier nylon fabric. What's cool about this is a post-consumer recycled fabric. So the nylon here comes from a lot of like carpet scraps.
Cool.
That is recycled. This is also a recycled fabric. And this one, however, is X-Pack, and this is a laminated fabric. So this is woven, and it has coatings on it that make it waterproof. This is laminated, so it is multiple layers of fabric, a 300 denier polyester face fabric. And then it has an X-ply
Interesting.
Layer inside, and then a plastic. This is set up as a first aid kit, but a piece of plastic or PET that is laminated to make it waterproof. This also has a DWR coating on it. Then this is also a laminated fabric, but it is a 70 denier face fabric and similar construction to this.
Can I ask a follow-up? What? And I realize that you sew, you're deep in this fabric stuff, but what is it about the human psyche that makes us want to memorize the composition of MagnaCut or the weave of a fabric? Like, what is it about humans that wants to get so deep and in the weeds?
Yeah.
Like, why do we do this? And I realize that somebody, maybe the guy sewing it, the lady sewing it, ought to be deep in the weeds. But what is it about the consumer psyche, and especially in 2025, that we just want to know every little thing about a topic? Why are we like that as human beings?
I wonder if some of it's just the fact that there's so much information available that it's easy to just consume it and then you obsess over it because of how it all comes together. Where if you go back 30 years, you wouldn't, maybe a spec sheet is available, but it wouldn't be like right on the internet for you to nerd out about why X-Pack is a better fabric than Ultra Grid, or why Ultra Grid is more abrasion resistant than this one is.
Do you think...
Does that make sense?
It does, it does. And my follow-up question, I know the answer to, but I think it's an interesting conversation point. Do you think we spend more time researching our knives, learning about the micarta and the MagnaCut than using them? And would you say that the same is true about fabrics and things?
I think it is product dependent.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think about all the time, like researching chairs. I'm about to buy a backpacking chair. It's my first official lightweight backpacking chair.
Ben texted me at 10:30 at night.
I did. I'm like, it's gotten bad over here. But I've spent probably an hour researching backpacking chairs. I wish I had that hour to go backpacking instead of researching a chair.
Yeah.
You know, that's not to say that the fabric is bad. It's just an interesting moment that we're in where there's so much information that you can go down these deep, deep rabbit holes. And maybe you forget that the reason you bought the bag or the reason that you bought the knife was to actually get outside.
Sure. But I'll contrast a little bit because...
Yes, I like contrast.
Because I think that even part of the process is the research. And that's part of the experience.
Interesting.
And I think that's even why, like, somebody like me making backpacking content, nobody actually cares that I went on a backpacking trip. But I think it's interesting because I can't go on a backpacking trip right now. I'm going to watch somebody else go backpacking, and that's going to feel
it's like... vicarious living.
But yeah, vicarious living. But I think the process of researching and learning and being able to, like, handle things and buying it and just, like, playing with it, just messing around.
Yeah.
Even though you're not doing the actual activity, is that it's a checkbox of fulfillment in the hobby.
Interesting. I love that. Let us know in the comments what you think about that. I think this is delightful stuff. Where can people find this? Backcountryexposure.com?
Yeah, backcountryexposure.com. I've got all sorts. This is just a small amount of what I offer, but the idea is to just organize and have things that are functional and durable and just a little bit better.
Well done.
If you go back, like, here's a little side note. You at one point said 3 or 4 degrees different in a Knafs at night.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the exact discussion was.
Yeah.
But it's like stuck in my head ever since of like.
I think I was talking about design and how
can I take this 3 or 4 degrees in a slightly different direction, because a roll top bag is a roll top bag is a roll top bag.
Is a knife, right?
Yeah.
Like has one function.
Yeah.
Keep your stuff in it, right?
Yeah.
This has one function. Cut.
Yep.
I like that you've taken that idea of like, just change it. How do you make it a little bit better?
Yeah.
It's cool.
And I care about what happens subconsciously when you handle a product. Not, here's the things that are obvious. It's, what's this buckle like? What's the feel of the roll? What is the fabric
Seams
feel like?
are taped, things like that.
That you just like subconsciously have an experience with the product, even as simple as it is.
And I think that's like, some people would look at this and say, well, why would you pay $60 for this? But I think some people would look at this and say, why would you pay $100 for this? Right? Like, when you can tell that story of why this is important, what effort you put into it, that's where the product starts to have energy and life of its own. So I love that. Okay, we're going to go to the Moon Crew, and then we're going to talk about the best 3 knives according to Dan Becker, another backpacker, and why we disagree with Dan's assessment. We'll come back to that. All right, coming back to the Moon Crew. Devin, are you in the Moon Crew?
I am in the Moon Crew.
Oh, I'm so glad you're there. The Moon Crew is our Facebook group where all the knife people gather. So this post here is from Trevor Sullivan. He says, my daily carry is going to need some big TLC when I get home. Fishing, beachcombing, and poking at crabs. I've seen a lot of things on Jekyll Island, Georgia. It's cool. I think I'd wear a t-shirt that said Jekyll Island, Georgia.
I don't know where that is.
I don't either.
I'm glad to see him out fishing.
I know. That's
very on topic.
Well, and totally on topic, right? Like, is this a fishing knife? No, not inherently.
Yeah.
But really, like, you got to cut line and you maybe got to clean 1 fish. But if you're a catch and release guy.
Yep.
I watched you catch and release like 10 fish. That's great. But like, you don't need a knife to clean your fish.
Yeah.
So anyway, food for thought. This is kind of fun and on topic. This is from Chris Lastufka. This is talking about the Baby Banter TG, the Touch Grass edition. He says, did you touch grass this weekend? The Baby Banter TG arrived yesterday, so I felt inclined to get outside for some time away from Fusion 360 and my 3D printer. That's exactly what I wanted. And it kind of turned into a trend for everyone that got a TG edition. This is from Jonathan Kennedy. All right, I followed instructions. Now what? Well, the idea, Jonathan, is to go wonderful places, see? But pretty cool. Pretty cool to see people. Baker's got to bake. You're going to make another bag.
Yeah.
For me, I got to make another knife. How do you then infuse the knife and inspire people to get outside, right? I don't want you to just research this knife. I want you to research this knife, take the toothpick and tweezers, and then get outside.
Yeah.
So, I enjoy that.
Slick.
It's fun.
That's awesome.
Next, we got some comments. This is from a couple videos back. Well, I guess last week. This is coming from Roger5645. So impressed with how the whole knife situation was discussed. How glorious the two of you were. I backed the little Lulu and in the first run group, but I also purchased a minnow to support Creeley blades as well. Good stuff, Ben.
That's cool.
You watched that episode?
I did watch that episode.
That's
I
cool.
thought that was neat.
Such a strange thing. It's like if you were to design a bag that, because like how, it's a bag, right?
Yeah, that food bag that was right here.
Yes.
It's been done by 40 other brands.
Correct.
Yeah.
You want to read the next one from Alex?
Maybe I'm the exception to the rule, but knives do indeed wear out.
This is a conversation about, do knives, have you ever worn out a knife, actually? Let's see your grandfather's knife there.
Yeah.
This is an old,
open that
old timer. This has got some miles on it.
I do think it's funny that this is coming from Alex.
Because he's a sharpening fiend too.
He is not easy on his stuff.
That's true. He ruins things. You ruin things, Alex.
Good job, Alex.
Next up, this is from you. Can we all agree that Austin is an intelligent dude? I agree.
That
Absolutely.
dude, he is impressive.
It's
I feel honored to be sitting
in his chair today.
in his. Thank you, Austin.
Agreed. Next is coming from Dom at Max Level ADC. 8 trips with the bladeless multi-tool. 5 times they took it out and looked at it. 3 times they missed it completely, which is wild. This is talking about TSA. You ever got a knife on an airplane on accident?
No, I am way too organized to allow.
You are organized. We go backpacking, and Devin like shows up. He like lays out a tarp, and like assembles all his things on the tarp. And I just like start chucking stuff on the ground, and he's like, organized. So I'm like, yeah. I'm having fun. This is coming from Mike Ciccone 27677. Someday you will make a fishing lander, and the pun on landing a fish will be insane. What makes it a fishing knife? What is it?
The fact that you took it on a fishing trip and.
Because there's like Bubba's blades, Bubba's blades, they have like the red handle and they're like these fillet knives that are really, like to me that's a fishing knife that you'd keep in your tackle box. But like, can't any knife like fillet a fish kind of?
To a point.
To a point.
I think there's enough crossover
Yeah.
with items that you can make it that if you want it to be.
Interesting. I like it. This is from DCA. Do you know DCA? David C. Anderson of Knife Center.
I do not.
Go for it. You got to know him here.
Your vintage knife looks pretty close to a square end case medium Stockman from here. Nice video, guys.
Nice. David is the type that can look at a knife from afar and say this is what it is. Especially when it comes to traditionals. I cannot do that with traditionals at all.
I mean,
I think it's a two-handed trapper something. I just don't know traditionals. Like that's part of the knife world that I haven't spent a lot of time in. Yeah. So like this, David, give us a reading. What do we got here? It's an old timer, probably a Stockman, maybe.
I have no idea. This was my great grandfather's knife though that was gifted to me by my grandpa who recently passed. But
I'm sorry, but
it's just one of those things that I keep and don't ever use because it's important to me. But
knives have such stories in history.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't even tell you what kind of stories and things come from that.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's get into the last section of the show today. This is Dan's survey results. So our friend Dan Becker runs his popular backpacking channel. He does film things in his backyard. I don't think that's a detriment.
And you've been to his backyard.
I've been to his backyard. I've had the pickle pizza in Wisconsin.
Excellent.
So he just put out a video, Best Gear of 2025, and he had a knife section in it. So here are the knives that Dan Becker and his audience via survey and retailers said are the best backpacking specific knives. The Open L, number 8. Will it balance? No, it will not.
Probably not. I'll hold it.
The Victorinox Classic SD, we snagged the Jolly Rancher flavored one. And the Dermasafe, $2.50 knife. Now, I'm not trying to yuck anybody's yum, but let's talk about these. You've done a lot of backpacking. If you had to go backpacking with one of these 3, which do you choose and why?
Oh.
Dermasafe.
Dermasafe. This is not it.
Okay, let's come back to that. Which one do you?
I think just for the sake of it being the traditional option, I would go with this because the versatility is there. Sure. I can do most of the things with this that I would be able to do with this.
Yep.
This isn't going to have scissors or a toothpick, and I'm not going to stick this in my mouth. And
you could whittle a toothpick, though.
You could whittle a toothpick. But this just doesn't have the utilitarian approach for me. It is minimum.
I'd agree with that.
Bare minimum to carry.
Yep.
Where maybe something a bit more.
But this is more weight.
This is more weight. I've actually never backpacked with this in my life.
It's okay. It hasn't had that backcountry exposure.
Right.
I'm with you. I would take the Open L number 8. And I thought this was interesting because the number 8, this is a 6. I don't know how they determine the sizes, but 6 is smaller than 8.
Can I challenge you?
Yes.
Will you make a spoon with this?
Yeah, I'll try it. I'm in. I'm in for a challenge.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted. I might need several.
That was the
Good thing they come in a pack of 10 for $10. Yeah. Let's go. Let's talk about that one for a minute. Could you, if somebody's saying this is one of the best backpacking knives, why? help me understand the psyche behind this. This is on, you can buy this on Garage Grown Gear. It's one of their knives that they sell. Garage Grown Gear is like the mega cottage seller of cottage brand outdoor stuff.
And in the realm of ultralight.
Yeah.
That's a key component here.
So
right?
why? Help me understand.
Why this knife?
Why this knife?
Or why not this knife?
Yes, both.
This, to me, this is not a knife. This thing is like mega sketch.
Yeah.
And
no lock.
Yeah, no lock.
Single use. You cannot get the blade out of it.
Waiting for an accident to happen in the backcountry. This I would use as like an emergency blade in my first aid kit. It would never be a like slot A choice for me to carry.
Interesting. Now I could see in a first aid kit, like, I don't know entirely what I would use it for. Like if you needed to cut some gauze or...
Yeah, cutting gauze, cutting some athletic tape
Sure.
or KT tape, or from like a woofer standpoint, you could cut clothing with this probably.
Sure.
You could also, a woofer, by the way, wilderness first responder.
Thank you. I was going to let that slide, but...
Gotta define things here.
I was going to bark.
But blisters or cutting moleskin.
So I can see that use case. If you were putting this in a first aid kit, sure. Or it's in a ditty bag and you're like, it's there if I need it. But do you think that ultralighters are like everyday carrying this in a pocket or something?
No way.
It can't be, right?
No. My guess is that majority of people that are carrying this, it's in some kind of a ditty bag.
Interesting. Okay.
Like tucked into a backpack. It is not not readily accessible.
Here's another thing about backpacking that I'm curious about. When you are carrying something on your person, are you counting that as weight, or is it just your pack weight?
You're going deep.
I am. I want to know.
Because it like depends on who you talk to. It depends on who you ask. If people are like, by the book, ultralight, this is what this is defined as. If it is on your person and not in your backpack, it does not count as part of your base weight. So it's like worn weight. It's like a whole other category.
So you have this saw on the table, which is cool, by the way. So if this is on my person, it's pretty lightweight. It doesn't count as pack weight, and I can still ultralight.
Right.
At what point does a vest start to, like if you're wearing like a fishing vest full of stuff, like does that start to count as pack weight eventually?
I think it's defined as like what clothing and what your jacket or your pants are carrying, not an additional vest or backpack.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's silly.
I have had so much fun there. I'm fascinated by... I like to get outside. I'm an outdoors person in the sense of like, I spend a lot of time hiking, biking, backpacking, stuff like that. But I'm not in the same realm as you, in the sense that you are like hardcore out there all the time.
Right.
If people want to...
Like...
Yes. Like this is
my backpack.
Yeah, mine is much larger. Yeah. It's like the better you are at the game, the smaller your pack gets. The worse you are, the bigger your pack gets.
Different experience. We won't put labels on who's better.
I think they're different, and I think maybe that's the trick to the outdoors is people are going to use whatever they're doing very differently than you and me. Everyone has their own style of doing things, but I guess my hope in this whole conversation is maybe spend more time outside.
Totally.
Like take whatever you've got or buy something. If you want to go buy a Lulu, I'm okay with that. Go buy a Lulu, but get it outside. Take whatever knife you've got. If it's your DermaSafe, if your DermaSafe goes on an adventure with you, I'm thrilled. Good for you.
Yeah.
You know.
I would say this is better than nothing.
Yeah. Well, and the adventure you take it on is better than sitting on the couch and doing nothing.
Totally.
So there's our challenge. I'm going to carve a spoon, not today, but another day with the DermaSafe safety razor. Watch out, fingers. Devin, thank you for being on. Where can the good people find you?
Backcountry exposure on all the things, but backcountryexposure.com.
Thank you so much for being on. And thank you guys for watching to the end. It's good to have you on, and we'll have another video coming out for you next week.